If you've ever tried the DTF hack, this video is going to be for you. There's a new product on the market that allows you to do the DTF hack with your inkjet printer and printing it onto black. The long-awaited white backing powder. So along with Kasyu's DTF Film and their new magic powder, it's going to create a white backing on your images, on your ink that you print, so you can press on black. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to pick your images for this process, because it's not just pick anything you want. So there are a couple of rules that you're going to have to abide by when using this process. I'm going to show you my print settings, and I'm going to show you my mess ups, and we'll talk about it at the end. And make sure you stay until the very end, because I do show you the wash results. Overall, I think this is a great hack for a home crafter. It's pretty easy. It doesn't require a whole lot of tools. It doesn't require a brand new setup. Most people have a regular inkjet printer in their home. So I do think this is a solid technique. Make sure you like and subscribe to my videos. I'll probably be doing more of this, maybe coming up with some new processes. And if you've tried this, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your experiences with it. And let's go and watch the video. Okay, so first I want to show you all of the products that I would be using and what was sent. So it is the A4 DTF film, their brand of Inkjet ink, and their powder. This is the ink that is made for eco tanks. However, I don't have an eco tank. I don't have any way to use these inks, so I was unable to use these particular inks. But if you have an eco tank, then you definitely are able to use this. And this is the magic powder. I feel like this is the secret. So I'm opening it up here to show you the container itself is different than anything I've used before. I've always gotten powder in bags, and this has this cute little shaker top. So you could just shake it right onto your film when it's printed, and then you can just scoop it up, unscrew the top off, and dump it back in, and you're able to reuse it. And this is their film. I love that it's A4 and not 8.5 by 11. So I just wanted to mention here, because I forgot in the last clip, the powder also comes with these rollers. So if you wanted to modify your printer to avoid pinwheel marks, they have it. The other really neat thing that this brand is offering with their film, it's called a sticky printing pad. So we've all had the problem, if you've done this before, we've all had the problem with our film not being recognized by our printer. So they have the film in the bag, and of course, like the other ones, it says this is the print side, because it's a little difficult to tell. So I'm pulling it out here, making sure not to touch the front of the film. When I was trying this product out, I 100% handled the film, made marks on it, and I didn't notice anything until I went to go print. So you peel the backing off of the sticky film, place your printing film on top of it, print side up. And here I'm flipping it. And I'm telling you from experience, do not rub your hand over it. Flip it over and rub the back. And now this is ready for printing. And after you've printed, all you do is peel the film off of the backing, and you can keep reusing that backing sheet. It's just like if you have a Cricut or a Silhouette and the pads, you just peel off the film and then cover it back up. So you can keep reusing this sticky pad over and over. Just like any printing technique, this one has some rules as well. So just like sublimation, your sublimation printer does not have white ink, neither does your regular inkjet, which is what we're using for this process. So I'm at my favorite website to, hold on. So I'm at my favorite website to get images, and I'm just on the homepage here looking around, and we're going to go through a couple of them and talk about what is a good image to print with this technique and what may not be. So right at the very first one at the top is this pumpkin book image. So this has a lot of white in it. If you go to print this, your printer will recognize it as white, which it doesn't have ink for, so it won't print any ink. And you need to have ink laid down in order for the powder to adhere to it. So any image that has white in it will not take the powder. It will be transparent otherwise when you press it onto a dark colored shirt. If you want to do this on white, it probably would work. But if you want to do this on a dark colored shirt, all of this white will show through as black. So same thing with this, because the ghosts are all white. Very much so with this. All of these have white in it. This obviously would work. It's probably all black. This is all black. You could go into a graphic design program like Photoshop or Affinity and change some of these colors, which would definitely work. Like this image is nice and deep and rich, except there's some lighter white colors. I would just increase these to like a darker brown maybe. And these, the only white is the hats and the scarf. I maybe would change this to a lighter green. So this, like these would work. This face won't work, but this top line would definitely work. These would work. This is all blue. So I did this one in my last video, and all the white was transparent, so the black shirt showed through, and this came out really good. So here are a couple of examples, just to go through some images and how to pick the right image for the process that you're using. So these are the images that I chose for my initial print. You're actually going to see halfway through the video, I did make a change, but let's talk about these images first. Okay, so the first image is this blue butterfly, which printed out really well. There are a couple of small white dots in here that didn't, I didn't mind the black showing through them, and this one worked pretty well. This is actually an image for a wind spinner, which I think is so cute. I've been dying to press a wind spinner, but this was a little bit light the first time I printed it. So I did increase the saturation on it and it printed much better. There were some white spots up in here and over here. And then these two images. I didn't think these through. All of this here was way too white to print. And when I pressed it, it was completely transparent here. No powder had adhered to these sections. And then same thing with this. All of this half toning here didn't provide enough ink laid down on the film for the powder to adhere to. So I had a whole bunch of holes in my image. It just didn't look solid. So I wound up changing halfway through this video, changing it to this, which wound up working really well. So now I'm going to show you how I printed this. So I'm just hitting Control P for print. I'm using an Epson 7100 expression with regular inkjet ink. This is not sublimation. I'm going to go into print settings here, and I saved a preset so I could tell you. So the document size, don't forget we're using A4 paper, not paper, film. And I tried it on two settings, the premium presentation matte and premium photo paper glossy. So I liked them both. They both worked perfectly fine. I felt the presentation maybe was a smidgel better, but what I do like about the glossy though, see here, I don't have the option to change it to high quality, but with the glossy, I do. So that's the only difference. And then this is just preference. I like to have a print preview. And then down here, take off high speed. It's sometimes called bidirectional. What this does is it almost skips every other line so that it prints faster. You actually want it to print a little slower to make sure more ink is laid down. So uncheck high speed and don't forget to mirror your image, because just like sublimation, you're going to flip it over and press it. So it needs to be mirrored. And then up here in the color correction, I go to custom and advanced, and then I pump up the brightness, the contrast, and the saturation, but I decrease the density. So I tried it a couple of times. My sweet spot was -15, and this helps to avoid the roller marks. If you choose not to install or modify your printer with the ones that come with your powder, this definitely helps. So I had a pretty successful print at -15. And then go ahead and hit print. So here is that first image that I was telling you about. It's printing. I loaded it with the film side facing down. Each printer is different. Mine needed the film side down to print on the film. So make sure you know which side it's going to print on. Okay, now it is time to powder, and I'm using their magic powder with the shaker top. I did take this outside. I am a big proponent of making sure you use any sort of DTF powder in a well-ventilated area. So I'm outside doing this in my yard, and I'm just covering my print with the powder and then just rolling it back and forth to make sure that everything gets a nice even layer of the powder. And then you can just tap it all off. And if you want, you can re-scoop all of that excess powder and put it right back in the container. So now it is time to cure. So there's a few different ways to cure it. If you have an easy press, you can lay it on top of the easy press. I personally like to use the heat gun method. I just put my heat gun on low and move it over it at a good maybe 2 to 3 inches above it, and keep moving back and forth and back and forth. And unlike the sublimation one, it doesn't exactly make the powder glossy. It makes it look crystallized. And this powder doesn't turn white like traditional DTF that you think of. It kind of turns a very, very light gray. So, and you don't want to overheat it. So a couple of times I would do it, let it cool, and then give it one more shot. But definitely keep it on low, always keep it moving. The other way is to put it under your heat press at around 300 degrees for about a minute and a half. Do not close your heat press. Just have your press hover over it. And that will also cure it if you don't have an easy press or a heat gun. So now I'm here working with that second image that I showed you. So now we're going to press this. And I'm doing this on a regular 100% cotton black shirt. And I'm pressing at 320 for 20 seconds. So after 20 seconds, this is how it pressed. We're going to let this fully cool until it's cold for a cold peel. Okay, I've let this cool for a while. It's completely cold. So just like the sublimation hack, I'm just going to peel it off. This was a really nice, easy peel. And the colors look really good. They're very vibrant. So it does call for a second press. I'm just going to use some parchment paper over it because I because I get weirded out that the ink is going to get onto the top platen. So I just put some parchment over it and pressing it again at 320 for 20 seconds. Okay, so everything still looks good. I do notice that the colors have softened a little bit on the second press. So now let's talk about each image. I can see here with the butterfly, I mentioned those white dots in the original image, and I can definitely see right here those white dots and the black showing through. I don't think it's terrible, actually. And this is the wind spinner image. I think this one came out really good. And this is the broom image. Much better than the other images I initially chose. And I am seeing that all of these images have this white line around it. This is in traditional DTF, this is called the choke. I'm not sure how to adjust the choke on this printing method, but I don't think it looks terrible, especially if you're printing something on black. It kind of makes it pop a little bit. So stay watching. We're going to do a wash test right now. And here is the wash test. The one on the left, the image on the left is before I washed it. The image on the right is after I washed it. There is a very slight change. I definitely can tell after being washed, a little bit of the color might have come out. It's a little bit duller, but really not by much. Maybe there would be a difference if I was able to use the Kasyu ink, but I was personally unable to use that without buying an entire new setup. So if you try this and you use the Kasyu ink, please let me know if you have different results. But overall, I think this is a pretty nifty technique. So I do like this, especially if I'm doing a one-off or if I'm doing something for family. Overall, I do like this. I think it's a really interesting technique. I think it's very innovative of Kasyu to have come out with this, because when we were doing the sublimation hack, this is what everybody wanted. It's always, how can I print on black? How can I print on black? So thank you, Kasyu, for putting this out. I think this is going to be a fantastic product for home crafters.